And now, we'd like to feature...
Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations. You made it through another week, and we are here to help you make it through next week. Welcome to the Red Hot Underdogs. I am Anzac, and with me on a Sunday always is the ever-incredible, long-contained, often imitated, but never even once duplicated. Put your hands together for Drewy.
Hey, buddy. How you going?
Pretty good.
Welcome to the podcast, whose name is A Definite Insurance Policy for Our Very Apparent and Obvious Shortcomings. Welcome to the Red Hot Underdogs.
Yes.
You going well?
Pretty good.
Beautiful.
You do the podcast later in the day. It's nice to do it in the morning, though. I'm wearing my pajamas. Yeah. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Listen, we're not a corporate setup. We're just a couple of old bludgers just having a red hot Aussie crack.
Yeah.
So we're not set to a certain time. If you don't get your result that you want from the podcast that happened later or so on and so forth in the day, so be it. We're not on anybody's watch. We're just a couple of Aussie battlers looking for a second chance at life, filling in our own time schedule. That's the way it runs. But I want to get to first things first. You can't escape the big story of the week. State of Origin 2. Yes. Yep. Setting up a massive narrative for game 3, and it's great to go into a third game as a decider. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's funny because before the game, no one, even the commentators, were giving New South Wales a chance at all, and they just smashed them, which made me think, is it possible? Like, I know it's too hard to rig a game like that, but it is possible for. Or is it too hard to be rigged? Am I the only person to say that? It's just the fairy tale, isn't it? The truth is, Australians are the biggest gamblers in the world, and they make so much money, the NRL and sports bet off gambling. Is it possible we could all be duped? It is all fake.
It's possible to be rigged, but not the other night, because New South Wales were just absolutely on fire. They were up for the contest. They were up for the fight. Queensland are not going to rig anything. New South Wales aren't going to rig anything. I'll tell you why. Because Queensland have absolutely dominated Origin for the last 15 years. They've literally had New South Wales by the short and curlies and telling them when to eat, when to sleep, when to shit, and how to chew our food. And I hate it, but that's the way it's been. I can only tell it how it is. And New South Wales have a lot of pride. They don't want to buy into rigging. Queensland don't want to buy into rigging. They want to continue their dominance over New South Wales. And New South Wales want to give them a great big bowl of fuck you soup and win. Yeah. So in this arena, other sports maybe, other series maybe, not Origin.
Yeah. Anyway,
but,
that was one of my first thoughts. I was just like, how is nobody giving them a chance and suddenly they just smash it out of the water? Is there a bit of, it didn't look rigged at all. Like there was no calls that I thought, were dubious.
I will say this: New South Wales had a good record down in Melbourne leading in.
Okay, all right.
They've won down there a few times before.
Third game in Suncorp, probably not.
Yeah.
So
no, yeah. Look, Queensland are going to start favourite, and rightly so. They deserve favouritism. From that, but on Wednesday night, the game was essentially over at half time. It was 34-0 at half time.
That never happened. Never.
Yeah. Six tries to 0 in the first half. So you had Martin with a try, Toto with 2, Lomax with 2, and Mitchell with a try. And one thing I actually enjoyed, because for the last 15 or so years, I've been force-fed through every orifice in my body, through my mouth, through my asshole, through my nose, through my ear canals, this Queensland spirit. They're great. They keep winning. They've had once-in-a-lifetime players.
Yeah.
But I'm like, hey, guys, 34-0, half-time, Queensland spirit, where is it?
Yeah.
And I know I'm sounding like a biased, bitter, one-eyed New South Welshman, but trust me, when you've been put in this position, put up against the prison bars and taken from the back door for the last 15 years, you'll take what you can fucking get.
Yeah. Yep. So take 34-0 at halftime. I actually stopped watching after then. I was like, oh God, this is in the bag for sure. I started watching Star Wars, so there you go. But
yes, because you're the imposter. You're a Queensland.
I'm worse than the imposter. I'm worse. I just, number one, don't want Manly injuries, and number two, I want a third game. I want a decider.
I know. That's true. That's true. For the record, you are a New South Welshman that goes for Queensland. There are a few of those.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Yeah. I don't mind that. It adds a bit of theatre to everything. So look, the decider will be great.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
There was also a lot of build. There's lots of narratives and build up to the decider, which I like.
Yeah. Because everybody wins with a decider. Like with a like I remember speaking. I know we said this before to Americans, and they were like, if someone's won 2 out of 3, why would you even have the third? Which makes sense, doesn't it?
Like, it's just playing for pride. The third one's just
work.
saying,
it doesn't work. You see a team that, like, we've seen it before, like Queensland's won the first 2 and then New South Wales wins the third, and at the full time New South Wales winning that match and Queensland, yay, we won it. And it's just like, it just doesn't work. It's just like a dead fish. Like, and it's just like, why did you bother watching that? Why did you bother having it? For everybody to, cheer, oh yeah, we won the series and lost the game. That's not cool. So yeah, that's why I think it you need
I've only got one answer for that.
Yeah.
The only reason I don't mind the third one, if you lose 2-0, is as a team to say to your fans, we're not as shit as what you thought we were.
Yeah.
We've still got a bit left in the tank.
Yeah, we lost, but we're not completely shit, Yeah.
Correct. On the flip side of that, there is a danger point though.
Yeah.
If you lose 3-0, it's like, we are as shit as you thought we are.
Yeah, maybe
we did embarrass ourselves.
We did.
And let's not talk about this for the next fucking year until the next series rolls around.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And so moving on. Manly got a bye, which is nice. You get the 2 points as soon as it used to be at the end, but now it's let's kick off of the first game of the week. Manly went from like 12th or 13th to 7th. Did you see that? Like, it was like, wow.
Yeah.
Because it's so congested, the table, isn't it? Crazy.
It's a congested table. And funnily enough, the side that is really having problems, which nobody could have foreseen this year, is the Brisbane Broncos.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, granted, they had a few Origin players this week. They've now lost their last 4 in a row.
Yep.
And, excuse me, they lost to the Warriors, who won 32-16.
And Warriors got smashed last week. Smashed.
And they came off an absolute hiding to the Titans.
Yeah.
So, for me, what I find really interesting is as a Manly supporter, we've been an absolute bumbling fool.
Yeah.
And for as terrible as we've been at certain times and completely dropping our lollies when we've got an unassailable lead, we're still in the 8.
Yeah.
I know we've got the bye, but it just shows you how inconsistent everyone is.
Yeah. Yep.
And I've said it on countless times, countless podcasts. I sound like a broken record, and I'll say it again for the 20 billionth time. You've only got to string a few wins together, and you're right back in the game up to your friggin' eyeballs.
Yeah, true.
So, yeah. And the Dogs, the Bulldogs
the Dogs. Let's talk about the Dogs beating Cronulla.
The Sharks, 15-14.
Yeah. And it was exciting, that. Did you watch the end of that game, the end?
Yeah, I did. I've been the most impressed with the Dogs out of anyone, not from a performance point of view, from an improvement point of view.
Yeah, yep.
They actually have a path now. You can actually see them improving.
Yep.
Beyond expectation. I'll be honest, leading into this season, I expected them to be in the bottom 3.
Yep. Yep.
They're well and truly in the top 8.
Yep. Yep.
So, phenomenal.
Who is the bottom?
Yeah.
The bottom's good
the
old
Eels.
Yeah, Eels, the shithouse, and good old Trent Barrett. You know what I think? I actually think I've worked out Trent Barrett's problem. Okay. I reckon he doesn't know that you have to score more points in a match to win a game.
You could be right.
Yep.
Like,
I am.
I've said it before. This guy's the walking 4-leaf clover of coaches.
Yeah.
Gets sacked from one, falls ass backwards into another one, gets sacked from one. Oh, hey, guess what? We got another job for you. At what point do you stop employing somebody who is fucking up your club?
Never. He's going to keep, it's called doing the Barrett, like he just goes from club to club, getting worse to worse. It's like, you need it in the process, here's the guy just to take you to the very bottom of the lake, the dip.
He's the Stephen Bradbury of the NRL.
Yes. Yeah.
I reckon him and Steve Bradbury just sit there at the pub. They don't trade war stories. They trade luck stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, good luck to him. But see, you've also got to take into consideration, he's not going to be their coach next year. He was just there as the interim one.
Yep.
He's had 2 failed head coach tenures before. Yep. And this one is just a Band-Aid solution, but it's a very unsticky Band-Aid that really doesn't work.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for the Eels, what are you doing replacing a coach that isn't successful at the time with a less successful coach?
Yeah.
And, it's just, I can answer that, though. Unfortunately, Brad Arthur was a scapegoat because they were trying to lure Wayne Bennett into the club. But Wayne Bennett was already well and truly deep within talks with South. Yeah. So he was never going to go to the Eels. And unfortunately, it screwed up their entire season. The bright side for the Eels is they don't have the world's worst roster. They've actually got some really, really good players.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just don't have a particularly good interim coach, and who's now sort of their temporary head coach, and they've had too many distractions this year.
They're wooden spoon. So, what do you reckon? They got to get wooden spoon.
Oh, maybe.
Tigers or
I'm still
Tigers.
Thinking maybe the Tigers. Tigers fans are going to hate me because they've had 2 wins in a row, but you lost 9 before that.
Yeah.
But you know what? I could look like an entire goose because they could go 3 in a row.
Yeah.
At the end of today, because that match hasn't happened yet, and they could go, Drewy, we told you so.
I hope
you don't
they
know
do.
Shit about what you're talking
I hope
about.
they do.
So they could.
Benji,
me too.
Benji,
I'd like to see the Tigers do well again. I actually want to see them make the top 8. Not going to happen this year, but in the next few years.
Yeah, agreed.
Imagine waiting since 2011 to make the top 8.
2011. That's the last time Manly won.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. And that's the last time the Tigers made the top 8.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, that's a bloody long time between drinks. So it's all happening.
Yep.
But between New South Wales' 38-18 win and how close the NRL is, I think the NRL's sort of never been in a better spot.
Yeah.
And
Storm won. Did you watch that one? That was a good one.
Storm won 16-6 against the Raiders.
Again, not like a flogging, but a convincing.
No.
And they said
Yeah.
They said in the past 9 years, Storm top 2. I think it's a stat like this: top 2, 7 out of 9 times, which is pretty amazing.
Yes. Yeah, it is amazing. And see, this is why I can't totally say that anyone's busting down the door to win the premiership. Storm keep winning, and that's all you got to do. So I've got to give them enormous credit for that.
Yeah.
But they're really not like, bashing down the front door saying, hey, we're the favourites.
Well,
we're the ones
they're not the favourites. Panthers are the favourites.
No, Penrith are.
Yeah.
I still like Penrith.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest, I don't want them to win a 4th in a row.
Nobody does.
They just seem like such a clinical machine. Even when they've got players out, they still seem to do well. You still need to be on all your P's and Q's in order to win.
Yep.
But yeah, like honestly,
Drewy, you're frozen. Are you frozen there? Look.
I am frozen. That's all right. You just get to hear my voice. It's the Italian stance. Look at this. We can run with this.
Look at this photo.
This is new Red Hot Underdogs territory.
Yeah,
Where have you taken my last dollar? You took my last piece of fruit. How are Italy doing in the Euros?
I'm going to use that as the thumbnail picture, that one there, yeah?
You should.
All right. Well, let's move on. What else is there? So rugby league done to death. Good old rugby league. And speaking of, you sold your last piece of fruit. The Italians in the Euro Cup, gone.
I know. Oh, just so sad.
The Swiss cheese, well, sad, but like they're used to losing, or not playing in.
They are now, and it's unfortunate because they're a team where that's their signature sport.
Yeah,
they don't have another sport. Can you think of another sport where Italy excels in?
No, they've only got.
And I don't think spaghetti eating is a mainstream sport just yet.
Yeah, so. But they're probably pretty good at competitive spaghetti and pizza eating.
Yeah, and I'm going to have a closer look at the Euros. I think Germany is still in there.
Yeah,
and Spain, but that'll be interesting to see who eventually wins that. But poor old eye ties.
Yep, gone.
And unfortunately, our teams in the AFL didn't get up.
Yeah.
Both had losses. Swans was their second loss of the year.
And they still top of the table, Swannies? I think they are.
Still top of the table. Yeah, maybe by about 12 points, which is like, because obviously, 4 points in AFL instead of 2. So like 3 games, basically.
Yeah.
But I think Carlton have a game in hand, I believe. So it could be cut down to 2 games clear. And with that win that Fremantle had, that puts them into 3rd on the table.
Oh, yep.
And Collingwood unfortunately lost to the Suns, but they're in 6th.
Yeah.
But where it gets really interesting is teams 8 to 12 are all on 32 points.
Yeah.
Where Port Adelaide have a game in
that too. There's like, we're 7th, Manly 7th, and then 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
5 teams are 1 point less than us. Which so the difference between 7th and 12th is 1 point.
Yeah,
it's huge. That's bottleneck. more than you can imagine.
This points for the bye. It's just a crazy elevator. It's a blessing or a curse.
Yep.
Sometimes with the bye getting the points, you're the hammer. Sometimes you're the nail. This week we were the hammer. Yep. Last week we were the absolute nail.
Hey, who does Manly play next? I know we've moved on from Manly. I've forgotten. Cowboys. No, it's not Cowboys. Do you remember?
I believe it's Cowboys. I think you're right.
Okay, great. All right. Well, that'll be
yeah. And Manly will be hoping, if you are a Manly supporter, I know there are millions and trillions of people outside the Manly area who believe Manly are on the nose, and I can understand that. One of the most hated teams in the competition. But if you are a Manly supporter, you will be hoping that Penrith beat the Cowboys today.
Yep.
So it's actually an interesting debate, just briefly. Do you still believe that Manly are the most hated team in the NRL?
Well, they were hated because, they were called the Silvertails and they were always a club with lots of money.
Yes.
That's why they were hated. And they still are. Like, they're still a rich club, but they're not the richest. Penrith is richer. Cronulla's richer. Roosters are richer. So they're definitely not the richest club. And we'll look at the Aussie rules. If Collingwood's the Manly of AFL,
they are.
Why are Collingwood hated? Why? Because they were a popular club, a big club, but there's clubs with more money, so to speak, right?
It goes back to that old saying. I think Manly still are the most hated, and I think Collingwood still are the most hated in the AFL.
Yeah.
We also get those moments whereby certain teams are hated and loved at different times depending on how they're going.
Yeah.
Like for now, I don't think Penrith are particularly well liked because they've won 3 in a row and people hate eating the same meal every freaking night.
Yeah.
So they don't want to have a 4th helping of another Penrith premiership.
Nobody
so they're probably not liked so much now, but if they go crap again for a while, that could change.
Exactly. When a team is no good for a long time, you know, people forget about them and people and people kind of start to like them. And it's the teams that are consistently good year after year, the Storms, and the Penriths, and and the Broncos. That that's why people don't like them.
I think there's a fair bit of hate for the Storm, particularly in light of their cheating scandal years ago.
Yep.
And being over the cap.
Yep.
Yeah,
people are sick of it. People are sick of them for years.
Yeah, absolutely. But it kind of changes.
Yeah.
I also want to talk about something that, apart from my frozen profile there, that is still looking quite fun.
I like
it too.
Yeah,
and where's my last dollar?
Yeah.
But it's
what
beautiful.
Were you saying when it froze you? Do you remember? Oh,
yeah. I was having some sort of whinge. That's my whinging pose.
Yeah, that's your whinging pose. Yeah.
When I got my hands out like that, it's either 2 things. I'm begging on the street because my money didn't come through for work this week.
Yep.
Or it's my whinging pose.
Whinging pose. Yep, whinging pose.
We're going with whinging pose because my money came through this week from work.
Nice. All right. What else did you want to talk about? Rugby league done to death. Aussie rules.
Yeah.
Yep.
I also, just briefly, I went a bit solid a few months ago about there being an NRL expansion club in the form of Papua New Guinea.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
yeah.
That was being heavily spoken about.
Yeah.
That seems to have cooled off somewhat now.
Yeah, but it's going to happen.
It will, but it might not be the next one. They're possibly thinking about reintroducing Perth as the next. pub, like a Western Red style thing. We've been there, we've done that. It's like going back to an ex-girlfriend for like the 6th time.
Yep.
Will it happen? Won't it happen? I don't mind it. I don't know about it.
Yeah, we want Papua
What
New
are
Guinea.
your thoughts?
Well, Papua New Guinea is happening because Papua New Guinea is in bed with China, or they owe millions or billions to China, and Australia wants to get in there economically because they want to get in there and I don't know, like, you don't want China moving into Papua New Guinea from Australia's point of view. So how can we get into Papua New Guinea? Nothing better than rugby league. They love rugby league. So let's give them a team. Let's play out of Darwin or Cairns. That's what I reckon. Not go to Papua New Guinea because it's too dangerous. Give them a team, and then there's less chance that China invades and moves into Papua New Guinea, because that's what it's about. It's not even about rugby league. This is politics. It's bigger. It's bigger rugby league.
That's a very interesting angle that I'd never thought about.
Yeah.
Not actually playing the game in Italy. That's like saying I'm going to get drunk.
You just said not playing the game in Italy.
Thank you. The frozen poses got me into the Italy. You're right.
Yeah. Everything is the frozen Italian thing.
Hey, maybe Papua New Guinea can play out of Italy.
yeah, they can go there. But it's
an interesting point. It's an interesting point you raise, not playing in Papua New Guinea.
Yep, don't play there.
It's kind of like saying I'm going to get drunk on a Carlton Zero. Yeah. Like, it just seems weird.
Yeah.
But it kind of makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. Yep.
Yes. I'm really glad that you're like my pit crew to pick me up on the P's and Q's. That was very, very good pickup.
Very good pickup.
Nice listening skills. Yeah. Sorry, what were you going to say?
No, just that's what I'm going to say. I'd much rather Papua New Guinea than Perth. I mean, does anybody ever follow rugby league in Perth? They don't, right? It's dead as a doornail. When did
I'm not as excited about Perth.
What happened? Was it a couple of years we had the Perth team in? And when was it?
Yeah, they came in in 1995. They were the Western Reds.
Oh, yep.
And I believe, I might be wrong on this, but I believe their last season was 1998.
Okay. 3 years.
But I certainly know that they were gone before 2000, but they came in 95. It was quite an unsuccessful venture. They thought, given the density and land mass of Western Australia, they thought they'd be able to get some people to play rugby league and grow the game over there.
Yep.
It's not a bad thought when you think about it, but its biggest downfall at the end of the day is Aussie rules, which just absolutely dominates over there.
It's too big, yeah. But I mean, it's worked in Melbourne,
It has.
Like, what's to say? Why can't it work in Adelaide or Perth? Why?
It can. It definitely can. I also think the fact that I know people might not agree with me, but geographically, Melbourne is a lot closer.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. Well,
and I think
nobody will argue with you that Melbourne's closer.
No. Not literally, but I mean figuratively, like the bigger issues.
Okay,
like the fact that it's closer means that
10
people don't need to travel as. Oh, thank you.
10-minute warning. 10-minute warning.
Beautiful. Meaning that people don't need to travel as far for away games.
Yep.
They're closer to NRL headquarters.
Yep.
You can get all the big boppers traveling interstate easier.
Yep.
Like as far as the administrators running the game.
Yep.
I know we've got Zoom and phones and emails these days. I get all that. But I think sometimes competitions work better if everyone's like geographically closer too, but that's not the biggest issue. I just think the biggest issue is both South Australia and Western Australia predominantly AFL. Well, they are AFL states, not predominantly, they are.
And Perth is further than New Zealand, right?
It is. Yeah, isn't that strange? The other one they've talked about is a team down south in New Zealand as having a second New Zealand side.
Oh, I'd like that. I'd really like that.
Yeah.
No.
So,
good for New Zealand.
Yes. So they're going to name that after a New Zealand bird, not a Kiwi. There was another name for it. I can't quite remember, but I didn't remember because I felt a bit deflated by it.
Yeah.
Because it didn't even seem an aggressive bird.
No.
It seemed like one that would eat birdseed out of your hand.
Yeah, like a Kiwi. A Kiwi.
Yeah, I'm like, can you give us a fierce mascot?
Yeah.
Not like some souped up budgerigar.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Give us something we can work with.
But still,
be intimidated by.
I'd rather, I'd rather a very not intimidating, or what's the word? Unintimidating bird than Reds, the Perth Reds. What's a red? A red what? Did they have a
I know.
Like, what was red? It's just red? Like red what? Red.
Correct. I agree. Or in the A-League, having your mascot as some dude who's on the dole queue, a wanderer.
Yeah, wanderer. Yeah. No,
what the hell is a wanderer?
I like that one. I like that wanderer.
We're playing the wanderers. Oh.
Yeah.
It doesn't exactly have you shaking in your boots.
No.
The other thing I want to mention, we're going a bit multi-dimensional today with various things. I know I'm jumping all over the place, but I don't really care.
Yeah.
You mentioned a few weeks ago, and I did not believe you, that breakdancing was going to be a sport in the Olympics.
It's a sport.
How bloody stupid.
It's starting soon, the Olympics. What, the end of July? Is that right?
Yeah. Look, you seem to be the aficionado on it because you were the one who said it was a sport, and I had no idea it was a sport in the Olympics.
Breakdancing and skateboarding. And they do, is it 3 new ones every year? And it's never like typical normal sports. It's always like synchronized swimming and
weird one.
I mean, I'm skateboarding's, a sport, what is it, ramp or is it racing, with tracks?
Oh no. Well, it's like I saw it last time. I think they've got a number of different events in the skateboarding. Obviously they've got the ramp one, but then they've got like their freestyle course where they slide off rails and go up mini ramps and do a bit of a circuit. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I just want to briefly touch on breakdancing again.
Yeah, breakdancing, yeah.
Will the Olympic Committee, do they have a special floor for them dancing on, or does each competitor have to bring their own bit of cardboard?
Oh, no, they'd have a floor.
What do they do? Dance off,
Yeah, they'd have a special floor, a special breakdancing floor. Maybe
one
of those floors that lights up with colors and stuff. Remember those dancing floors that
yeah. But for a moment, I just pictured some weird geezer picking up a cardboard box from Bunnings and disassembling it on the ground and then doing a big turtle spin in front of the crowd.
Ninja Turtle. It's called the Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, the old Ninja Turtle spin. Yep. But yeah, I mean, look, I love the Olympics. It does toss up some strange sports. Yeah. One that was strange that I don't mind so much now was walking.
Yeah, walking.
I can appreciate walking. It takes an element of skill.
But walking is great, but as a competitive sport, I don't know. I think it's one of, if not the best sports out there for fitness. You speak to people, you see the world. It's great for your body. But but I still don't, like, I don't know whether it's a good Olympic sport.
Yeah. I think it's a bit like watching my Italian pose. It's fun at the start and then it gets a bit boring.
Yeah.
But no.
I'm not finding it boring yet. I'm still looking at it.
But there is an element of skill though, because you actually get
in doing that pose or in walking?
In both.
Both.
No. Look at how long I've held it without breathing.
Yeah. You're doing well. You're very good at speaking without moving your mouth, Drewy. Yeah.
Hey, I did ventriloquism.
Yeah.
That's a side job outside of the podcast.
It is.
But when people are walking, so in the Olympic Games, you can't actually have both heels off the ground at the same time, because that's when you get a red paddle. You get 3 red paddles and you're out. You're disqualified. Yes.
Paddle. They don't have a card. They give you a paddle.
The officials hold up a red paddle each time you
paddle or a little paddle.
Just a small one, but you see it.
They smack you on the ass with this paddle.
No.
Red ass smacking paddle.
They hold it up like some toffee nosed geezer at an auction.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and what happens if you get 3 of those? You get disqualified, and if you're walking too fast, hence both heels off the ground at the same time, it's considered a run.
Yeah.
There was actually a woman in the 2000 Olympics who was an Australian. Her name escapes me right now. She got disqualified actually entering the arena, and she was in first place, about to walk into the grandstand and do the lap of the track inside the grandstand. That's all she had to do. And before she walked under the underpass into the stadium, they gave her a 3rd red paddle.
Was she far ahead of the other guys?
Huh?
Was she far
ahead? Fair distance. She was going to win it.
Yeah, wow.
She just needed to hold her walk.
She just needed to not run.
Talk about that for a bloody 24-hour reminder for the rest of your life of how you lost the gold medal.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, you walk every day, everywhere, all the time.
All the time.
Constant reminder of, hey, if I had have done this, I would have won the gold medal.
Yep.
I started to run. Yep. But anyway, Olympics coming up, 3rd Origin coming up.
Yep. Breakdancing coming up. Breakdancing, competitive breakdancing. We got to watch that, Drewy. Let's watch it,
Yeah, I'll watch it. That's if I can break out of my pose, I might need some medical help before then, some tranquilizers or
you might need a red
something.
Yes. Yeah. You with the red
Somebody needs to slap me across the face to break me out of my Italian pose.
Yeah.
But no, it's good. There's a lot coming up, but I'm particularly interested in this 3rd Origin in however many days time, 2 weeks and a bit time. So it'll be good.
Interested in breakdancing. I think that it's going to be fun. And we've talked about this before, but when is a sport not a sport? Like is
I can answer that. When it's breakdancing. When it's breakdancing
is not a sport.
No.
Okay.
You know why?
What about the dancing on ice? How they flip around and do those.
That's a sport. That's a sport.
Well, that's not fair.
No, it takes a lot more skill. I
got my cardboard. I'm not on ice.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. Like if you're spinning on ice, what's the difference between spinning on Ninja Turtle heads?
I don't know.